Well, back to Fog Entertainment. We're here with a brand new power review. It's episode 3 of season 1, and this one is called This Is Real. But is it real? Because you know what it feels like to me? It feels like a video game. It feels like GTA Ballad of Gay Tony. I've hit the nail on the head with this one. That is literally what this TV show feels like. You've got nightclubs, you've got drugs. It's in New York City. That's what Liberty City is. That's what it honestly feels like to me. And I feel like with Tommy, the fact he's like the only white guy in this like entire crew, just even more points towards like the Bally guy Tony, because of course Tony was gay, so he stood out like Tommy does in this. That's my personal opinion. But what's my personal opinion of the episode? Well, we have to dive off into the start of it, where we get some more nightclub stuff, right? We have Ghost and Angela texting each other. During this, though, a woman takes coke and then ODs, overdoses, but guess what? She manages to survive. But of course, this is bad publicity for the Truth nightclub, and Ghost isn't too happy about this. But I don't know, it just seems a wee bit hypocritical to me that a guy that sells drugs is like making out like, this bastard sold them bad drugs. I don't understand how like drug dealers can take the high ground. Like you see TV shows, at least if they know they're getting it for me, they're getting a better product. See, unless you're fucking Walter White, I don't think you can actually argue that claim, right? That's my personal opinion. There we do see Agent, or what's his name? Big Agent Greg Knox, FBI Agent Greg Knox. He raps at the door of Angela, but this is what I don't get, right? So these two are essentially a couple, but then Angela wants to be with Ghost, but then Ghost is married. It's like, well, what is this? It's like fucking, it's like, what age? Are we 15 here? These are people with big high-ranking jobs and also are fucking married. Anyway, I digress. We gotta move on, and they are phone called by Nomar, and this Nomar guy, I thought he just had a thing for Carlos Ruiz's daughter, who's 14, so it automatically makes him a fucking nonce. It turns out this guy's got a thing for everybody who's like 13 or under, 14 or under, whatever, which automatically is fucking weird. But the thing he sent them do here is bogus. And then he's like, you're going to blow my cover here. You're the only white guy in Spanish-speaking location of NYC, damn. Which I can kind of see Nomar's point, but at the end of the day, mate, you've agreed to cooperate, so you need to be spoken. He's almost acting here as if he's the string puller, which I don't really get. We then see Ghost and Tommy talking about what will need to be done, and the fact that things look like they're pretty much, easing out at this point. But then get Sean Stark, he's talking to Ghost. Ghost tells him, why don't you visit your dad? And I'm sitting here thinking, who's his dad? Who's actually his dad at this point? Turns out his dad is none other than 50 Cent by the name of Kanan Stark, the creator of this show. And I obviously this is only season 1, and they did mention here that the fact that he's been inside since Sean was 9. This Sean guy looks like, he's early 20s now. So I'm hoping that 50 Cent is getting released for jail soon and that he can lay the smack down in this show. We see more stuff with the FBI. They're kind of like on each other's heels. Like you've got Angela and Greg trying to do their own thing, then the other two are trying to do their own thing. But essentially, Charmaine, Frankie Lavaro is saying to them, well, you know what, guys, let them do their thing, let you do your own thing, and we'll try and bring these guys down together, which I get. And I don't know how many times they want to like portray this gimmick of Ghost as like he's stuck between his family life, the crime life, and then the nightclub life. Like, at this point, you're about 2.5 episodes into the series, and you feel like they've played this card about 10 times. Like, how many times does this guy already at this point, be like, oh, sorry, honey, I can't get home tonight, I've got business with the club. Or he's in at the club, and he's like, oh, alright, Josh Cantos, mate, I have to go see Tommy. Or then he has to blow off Tommy. Oh no, I've got to pick up Tasha. I mean, what is this? The guy doesn't know what to be at. He really doesn't. Tommy does voice his displeasure about the fact that they've kept the dealer that got slashed in the face alive. Tasha then finds out that Ghost has hoovered money out of their bank, which she's not happy about. Turns out the money that he hoovered out of it, right, is just so he could actually fund this whole nightclub idea that he had. And she has a fucking proper go at him. And it's like, who are you? You're a fucking nobody. This is a guy, yeah, he's a drug dealer, but I mean, he's built this empire. That would be like Skylar and Breaking Ball. Why have you took a tenth of our money, Walter? Shut the fuck up, man. Alright, you've done hee-haw. Just like this stupid bastard. Didn't get this one bit. He then visits the overdose. So it's like the overdose victim who fainted. They're from like Ukraine or something. This was before the Ukraine-Russia war, I guess. So I mean, there's not like, oh, we're forcing them in there, but yeah, looks like this person's not going to press charges. So from that perspective, it looks like the nightclub ain't going to be facing anything too bad in that regard. But you're sitting here wondering at this point, right, what are Angela and Ghost going to do? Then they like kiss in public, right? And no, I don't get about this. Surely Ghost, even though like, oh, he tries to keep a low profile, that can only work to a certain degree. Surely in New York City, this guy would be known, man. This guy surely would be known. Sean then visits his dad. This is when we get the first scene of 50 Cent. And like they like trade shoes, which was just weird. So it's like, hold on here, the trade shoes. They're just going to let him trade shoes with him. I don't know. That just seems stupid. He actually turns up like and just gives his dad a pair of fucking trainers, and that's pretty much the height of the conversation. He already does tell Canan, or whatever you pronounce his name, man. Canan, that's it. That's his name, Canan. He's like, Ghost has got me being his drive. I was like, I was wondering when this day would happen. Then we see a few members of the crew get attacked by this guy, but then Tommy manages to save them. And then Tommy starts torturing them. You know what? Of like torture scenes that I've seen throughout movies and TV shows, this was actually a pretty good one. I mean, actually pouring like lighter fluid all over him, like proper oil, and then like setting each part of his like limbs on fire in order to get him to talk. Pretty smart plan. You can't dispute that really here. And eventually they get him to talk, and then he does end up revealing a name. And the name is, I can't even remember who the name is. Then the guy appears, but there's actually just so many names. But essentially, Ghost doesn't want to believe it's this guy. And the guy that he's burnt alive here, Tommy, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, Ghost, I did a medium rare. It's got a cheap pop out of me, right? I got a cheap pop out of me. But essentially, Ghost does not want anybody here to find out about this. So he said he's not going to kill anybody until he knows for sure, which is fair enough, but you've kind of blown your cover to the guy who it could potentially be. And the contact that the fam was going to be delivered to was a woman, which we see proof of. We see a woman escaping on a boat. So, you know what? That's fair enough. I'm not going to bury that too much. But again, I feel like it's weak leadership for Ghost. And I don't understand this, right? I get it that Tommy and Ghost came up alongside each other from when they were kids and they've kind of built this empire together. But surely Ghost being in this whole nightclub business and just not really picking up where it needs to be picked up and not interfering is surely undermining the entire organisation. I think if this was any bit realistic, he'd be getting called out a little bit more here for Tommy. That's my personal opinion anyway on the matter. But it looks like this is going to result in something potentially. And then as Ghost returns home, he hears his daughter choking, and it turns out she's choking on the key ring that he bought Angela. Well, they bought each other one at the end of last episode, so... But his wife doesn't notice this, but then he's figuring... But is this supposed to show him that, oh, this is risky, being with your wife than trying to be with another woman? It's like, it's just a fucking keyring. I don't know, how did the keyring even get left in his, like, 2-year-old's crib? I don't know. Then he buys his wife expensive jewellery, then he buys Angela expensive jewellery. I just feel like they're focusing way too much on, like, this guy's personal life with his wife and his high school love heart for like 18 years ago. The stuff that's actually focusing on the crew is good, and I'm not saying, of course, with Angela, she's in the FBI, she's a lawyer, and like they're doing this whole task force. She doesn't even know it's going to end up being against this guy, which is intriguing. But I feel like there's far too much emphasis on his personal life. I feel like that needs to take a step back, and it's the fact Only 8 episodes in season 1. That's free in. Anyway, I think it was better than episode 2, so I'll give it a 6 out of 10. But I'm yet to be blown away. I am yet to be blown away, guys.